A government is accountable when people make it accountable, because you have to ask questions. And that is why for the people of Nagaland, it should be important that the government does what it is supposed to be doing. Rather than amassing wealth for themselves, politicians who are chosen by people should be working for people so that roads are better, facilities are better, and people live a comfortable life. But has that happened? And if that hasn't happened, what is the proof? The proof lies in the Controller and Auditor General's report. And this CAG report, which was tabled by the Chief Minister, Mr. Neiphiu Rio, on 14 September 2023 in the Nagaland Assembly, tells us that there were various deficiencies in several projects and schemes. I'll come to each scheme one by one. But let me tell you that this related to the year ending March 2022. So it's not this year. So that means when it was an opposition-less government, the year before that, what all did they do? This CAG report talks about various deficiencies. Let's start with first the Kohima Smart City Mission, which is being implemented in Nagaland. So there were 100 cities which were chosen to be smart cities by the central government, and in that funds had to be released by the central government as well as the state government. So both were supposed to be pooling in. However, now the performance audit of the Kohima Smart City Mission for the period from 2016-17 to 2021, it has shown that there have been a lot of deficiencies in this smart city mission. And of course, it will point out to corruption. How? It says, the CAG report says that the Kohima Smart City development had 61 prioritized projects, out of which only 28 DPRs or detailed project reports were completed. And as of October 2021, only 8 projects are finalized. Now, why is it that if you have 61 prioritized projects, meaning there must be many others, but these were prioritized, that these have to be completed first? Why is it that from 2016-17 to 2020-21, that's not a short time, it's a period of 4 years, this work wasn't completed? And these delays, according to the CAG report, have been attributed to delay of fund release and mismanagement of resources. Meaning the money was available, but they haven't been managed properly, the funds haven't been released properly. Now, the report also says that the Kohima Smart City Development Limited, KSCDL, and you see that written at a number of places as you're moving around Kohima City. The report says that KSCDL, they did not prioritize core infrastructure elements. They did not have feasibility reports. These are all reports which are prepared according to which you study and decide whether certain things, certain attributes in a project are possible or not possible. So there were no feasibility reports, and they did not adhere to revenue models as per the guiding principles. So they were not following rules, norms, they were just doing what they wanted, and that is why there have been failures. So it was being done under the PPP model, that is the public-private partnership. And the report says that it led to a number of failures in getting public partnership, private-public partnership into the scheme of things. And the project implementation, therefore, was very poor. The planning, according to this report, was poor because of a lot of wasteful expenditure. 70,75,000 rupees were wasted on water ATMs. And I don't know where these water ATMs and also water tankers, this amount was wasted. 70 lakh plus rupees was wasted, according to this report, on water ATMs and water tankers. And in addition to that, the multi-utility ducts also saw a wastage of a stupendous amount of 85 lakh 57,000 plus rupees. 85 lakhs, 70 lakhs. I mean, can you even imagine this? This is more than 1.5 crore which has been wasted on multi-utility ducts, ATMs, water ATMs and water tankers. The report also talks about how the state government and also the central government, because of which the governments always like to ally with whichever party is in power at the center. But both the state government and the government of India are responsible because they refused, or rather they failed to release the funding according to the schedule that had been planned. And it showed that there were various issues of financial management, internal controls, and accountability within the management. Now, what does this mean? Accountability within the management, financial management was not done properly, internal controls weren't properly, meaning that there was no proper coordination between the officers, between the government of India, state government, and also the state government and the smart city mission, or let's say the central government and the smart city mission for Kohima. Now, who will be held responsible for this? Obviously, both the central government, that is government of India, and the state government of Nagaland. So this is one, that is the smart city mission. Now let's go to the second one, the PM Kisan scheme. According to this report, the Pradhan Mantri Kisan Samman Nidhi scheme, according to which you get money into your accounts, and there are lots of things happening there. The report showed that there were various flaws even in the PM Kisan Samman Nidhi scheme. And the issues that were there related to the beneficiary lists, meaning those who were supposed to be getting the benefit, those who were supposed to be the beneficiaries of the scheme, the lists that were prepared, they were flawed. The land ownership verification was flawed. The people who had died, obviously people who died, they wouldn't be considered as beneficiaries. Only the living Kisans are the beneficiaries of the farmers. So the lists were flawed. The reporting of deaths was not happening timely. The land ownership verification, that was flawed. And multiple beneficiaries for the same. It was all flawed. So who is responsible for that? And this report also says that there was a shortfall in government releases and there was no social audit being done. Why should the government not be transparent? If you have social audits being done, then the government can be held accountable and it will become accountable. The only way to do it is have a social audit, and there was no social audit at all. So these are two things I've told you about. One is the smart city mission. Second is the PM Kisan Samman Nidhi scheme, where there have been a lot of flaws. Let's come to the third one, municipal affairs. The municipal affairs department was supposed to be building a modern abattoir, a butchery, and there was a new memorandum of understanding, but this facility cost 17.15 crore, 17.15 crore, being left unused for 4 years, 2016, 17 to 2021. So it was the state government's failure that they were not able to establish this modern abattoir. Who is supposed to be held responsible? So from the municipal affairs department, let's go to the fourth floor. Perin and NH 39 connectivity. This government, and especially the government of India, of the BJP, they keep talking about bettering road connectivity, and we know what kind of roads are there, how the work is progressing, what is happening to the Pradhan Mantri Sadak Yojana. There, in some places, there is some work happening. Most of the places, there are no roads. And of course, when we talk about the Perin and NH 39 connectivity, there was a proposed road connecting Perin district and National Highway 39. It remained incomplete for almost a decade, more than a decade. And you know how much of money has been wasted, and this is public money, this is your money. People of Nagaland, citizens of Nagaland, this is your money. It could have benefited you in so many other ways if this was not to be done. Why waste this money? Use it for the benefit of people, to make a hospital maybe, or another facility, a stadium, which is really required in Nagaland, and many stadiums are required. But if I talk about many stadiums, I feel sorry about the Dimapur State Stadium, where when you make a little noise, work starts happening. I don't know whether that is completed or whether it's going to get completed soon. But this road connecting Perin district and National Highway 39, it remained undeveloped, incomplete for over a decade, and how much money has been wasted. The CAG report reports a wasteful expenditure of, if you believe this, 9 crore 21 lakh rupees and more. 9 crore 21 lakh rupees and more. We have been talking about the kerosene oil, and during the run-up to the assembly elections, we were talking about it, and I come back to it. The kerosene oil which the government diverted, the state government diverted, it was worth 19 crore 56 lakhs plus, and these were diverted in contravention to the rules of the government, in contravention to the directives of the government. I mean, if the government gives certain directives, you have to follow them. Otherwise, why would there be a government directive if you have to divert things the way you want to? That means there's no system, there's no accountability, you don't care. And this government has always been about not caring. The report also says that there have been excess payments of rupees 7 crore 20 lakh plus in the agriculture department. This is the next one. And excess payments of 20 crore 9 lakh in projects under the non-lapsable Central Pool of Resources and Northeast Special Infrastructure Development Scheme. That means funds which are meant for the Northeast, which came to Nagaland. That is NLCPR, which lapse after a period of time if you don't utilize it during the period it is allocated for. And any SIDS. And because the funds were not released on time, it impacted completion of various projects, and the projects could not be completed timely. And there were times when the report says there were incorrect submissions and lack of inspections in any SIDS funded projects. Can you imagine? Except for one. There was only one where there was no problem, and where they found that the submissions were all correct, it was submitted on time, inspections were done, and it was probably completed in time. But the rest of them were not. So if you look at it, whether it is the Kohima Smart City Mission, the PM Kisan Samman Nidhi scheme, the Municipal Affairs Department to establish a modern abattoir, the Perin and NH39 road connectivity, the kerosene oil diversion, the payments which were made in excess in the Agriculture Department, under the non-lapsable Central Pool of Resources and NESIDS. Can you imagine how many of these issues really need your attention? And let me go a little further about the donor funded schemes under NLCPR. A subject specific compliance audit of review of Ministry of Development of Northeastern Region funded schemes under non-lapsable Central Pool of Resources and Northeast Special Infrastructure Development schemes in Nagaland was carried out for this report, and again for this period of 4 years, and it revealed that the DPR was unrealistic. There was no proper planning, no proper survey, and before the DPRs were prepared, the economic appraisal was not done properly. And I've already told you about this earlier. The DPRs and the concept notes which were prepared, there were no field visits, so you didn't really go out. You sat in your office and you just made a report. That means you could put in whatever amount you wanted. If you got that amount, that means you were going to misutilize it and misuse it. It's very simple. There were no field visits, and the actual bill of quantities were not analyzed. How are you going to decide how much material you need? You can't sit in an office and decide that for this stadia, for example, I need so much of cement. You've got to go on ground and check. You've got to go on ground to check what is the area and how much, how thick the wall is going to be made, for example. You can't just sit in your office and decide that you require, let's say, 10 bags of cement for a particular area. Maybe it's thicker, you need more. Maybe it's thinner, you need less. You need to go out there and do it. But the CAG report has clearly shown that the Nagaland government in the 4 years from 2016-17 to 2020-21 has indulged in a whole lot of corruption. It is the people of Nagaland who need to question this government, because when we are talking about these deficiencies in government programs, it is related to you. You have to question them. And Nagaland has a very highly educated population. How can you let your government indulge in this kind of corruption and not ask questions? You have to have the guts to ask questions. It's your right. It's not just your moral right. It's your constitutional right. It is your legal right to ask your government as to how and why there has been so much of wasteful expenditure in various schemes, at various places. And if funds have not been released, if there has been mismanagement, who is responsible? It is your government which is responsible. And my dear friends from Nagaland, you need to question your government. I hope that I have comprehensively told you what the CAG report deficiencies it has pointed to. The deficiencies that are being pointed to also clearly indicate that there has been a huge amount of corruption, and that money could have been used for your benefit, to make your life better, to give you better facilities, to give you proper water lines, water pipes, which is not available there. The Jal Jeevan mission that the central government keeps talking about, you know the truth about it. You know that you have water tankers carrying waters. And here they were wasting money on water ATMs and water tankers. You can see how clearly everything is in front of you. You can see the corruption there. You can see the lies being peddled by the government of Nagaland. And after this report has been tabled in the Nagaland Assembly, it is your duty and responsibility, my dear friends of Nagaland, my dear citizens of Nagaland, to question Mr. Neiphiu Rio's government. You can't allow your politicians who you vote in to continue to ravage the state. The funds which are coming are meant for you, for your benefit, to better your lives. They are not meant for the personal development of these families which are in government today. So raise your voice, ask questions, make videos. Today the social media is there for you. You can easily ask questions. I hope that you are going to take a strict account of how and why the government failed to implement schemes, why funds were not released on time, why there was mismanagement, why there was wasteful expenditure by various departments, why a modern butchery could not be built timely, why the schemes under the Smart City mission for Kohima were not completed on time. These are issues related to you. Ask questions. Ask your government. The government needs to be held accountable, and only the citizens can do it, because this is a democracy, no matter how they get elected. But after that, holding them accountable is the duty and responsibility of the citizens. I hope you will do that. Thank you for watching this video, and I will be waiting to see your videos regarding this.